It's Motivational Monday. You have tuned in to the Brave Stars podcast, and I am your host, Janice LaStar Simmons. I'm a survivor, a breaker of chains, and an advocate against domestic violence. And today, we will be talking about what do you do after the celebration? You want to eat healthy. This journey that I'm sharing with you, it's my journey. I am breaking the generational curse of high blood pressure and sugar diabetes in my family, beginning with me, my life, So in breaking this curse, all right, my father had been diagnosed, my siblings were diagnosed with high blood pressure, sugar diabetes. I have high blood pressure and I'm a borderline diabetic, but I don't want to have diabetes and I don't want to have high blood pressure. So in order to reverse these things, I have to eat properly, okay? So one thing I got from this other lady, I think she's a doctor. If you ask, I'll give you her information. But she's 74 years old, and she says often, let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. So what she's stating is, if you eat the proper foods that God gave us, because God gave us everything we needed on this earth to eat. For some reason, man believes that he can make something better than what God did. And that's why he came up with all of these pills and all types of drugs and things that you're supposed to take if you're sick. Actually, lemons is supposed to be the main cure-all. If you have a cold or if you have any kind of, if you got phlegm or any kind of sickness, lemon is supposed to take care of the sickness. Lemons can heal stomach ulcers, but you would have to fast in order to do it. You'd have to fast and stop eating processed foods and only eat vegetables and fruits. And, you got to get your protein in there, but you don't have to eat protein every day. You can eat proteins twice a week and heal quicker than eating them every day. Because when you eat protein, when you eat meat, you're eating whatever that animal ate. And if it's a farmed animal, then you're eating whatever those people fed that animal. Because, they're giving them foods with metals in it. They're giving us foods with metals in it. Metals and lots of sodium is inside of our meat nowadays. But anyway, I'm not talking to you about that. You're going to eat how you eat anyway. What I want to talk to you about is eating healthier and how you get back on track after a celebration. So last weekend, I went to a wedding. I went to my cousin's wedding. And she was my little cousin. My cousin's daughter got married. Beautiful event. Food, delicious. Everything was good. Everything was perfect. There are absolutely no complaints for me. I ate things I would ordinarily say no to. But I'm at the celebration. I was in the zone. We ate a little late. I had a wonderful time. I'm sorry. I had a wonderful time. But once I came back, since this is a lifestyle for me, I got right back on place with eating the way I eat. I told y'all I'm doing this challenge. The challenge was for September, but I didn't like the amount of weight that I lost from it. I didn't like my results. The result was supposed to be 15 pounds, and I only lost 10.4. I want to lose my other 5 or whatever else I can lose in the month of October towards that, to make it 15 or whatever comes off. But I'm not as strict this month as I was last month. And we have, oh my goodness, we have events, honey. I told you last week was the wedding. This past weekend was our pastor's anniversary. They've been pastors for 36 years. It's husband and wife. Pastor Eugene and Pastor Robin, shout out. It's their 36th anniversary with being pastors. So, oh my God, they had good food there. They had cake. I had some cake. I didn't have wedding cake, but I had so much food, I was ready to bust anyway. So I didn't want cake, wedding cake last weekend, but yesterday's, oh my God, I ate. And it's okay, because I get back in line with doing my exercise Monday through Friday. I take my weekends off, but I do my exercise, I do my walking, and I eat within a 5 to 6 hour window, so I can get all of those foods out of me, you know? So that's just how it goes. You know, I want to stick with that so that when life does have a little surprise and some extra foods that I normally would say no to, I can go ahead and eat those things, you know, moderately. I don't go overboard, and then get back to doing what I do. I don't expect to see a major side effect in my health unless I'm doing it too much and too often, too frequently. You know what I'm saying? So I know if I ate too much carbs, my vision gets blurry. Now, I wear reading glasses, but if my vision is blurry with the glasses, I know I OD'd in carbs. It's way too much carbs. So what I start doing is flushing. And the way I flush is by drinking lots of water. Now, I told you guys that you are supposed to drink half of your body weight in water. An example, and that's on a daily basis. An example is if you weigh 120 pounds, then you should be drinking 60 fluid ounces of water on the daily basis, okay? The easiest way to get that done is to start early in the morning. When you rise, drink at least 16 ounces of water. Then whatever beverage you have in the morning, tea is my favorite go-to. If I have tea, 8 ounces of tea, or 12 is normally what I take, but you don't sweeten it. And then that goes towards my ounces of water, towards my body weight, you know. And then I'll get the rest of my waters in. And if I go ahead and get another refill of tea, then that, again, like I said, it goes towards my water count because I'm not putting flavors in it. Now, if you're adding flavor to it, that tea doesn't count. Drink half of your body weight in fluid ounces of water. So that's what you would do in order to flush. Now, you're not going to flush completely and have no more food. You're going to also have food, but what you want to do is not take in any more carbs, no more carbohydrates for that day, because you want your vision to clear up, especially if you're a driver, or I should say me. I want my vision to clear up, so I won't take in another carb that day. I already know I OD'd on carbs. I got to get this stuff out of me. So I would turn around and I would drink my water. Another thing though, when you are eating a meal, you're supposed to just eat that meal. If you have a beverage to drink with it, you either drink that beverage before that meal or you drink that beverage after that meal. You don't eat, drink, eat, drink. You're not supposed to do that. It's confusing to your body and it causes more body weight. Well, you don't have to listen to your girl, but I'm telling you, I've read that. I'm going to get you some more details on that too. If you're interested, you got to be interested. If you ask me to get you more information, I will get you more information. Otherwise, when you're eating, you eat. When you are drinking something, you drink. You don't mix and match, okay? You do one thing at a time, and helps your body digest those things properly, okay? I went back to eating my stuff, my regular stuff. I also knew I had this event coming up, you know? So that was another reason to make sure that I got back on track, because I didn't want to have a whole week of not eating properly. And mind you, my vision did not act up, because like I said, I'm normally eating healthy and exercising and getting my walking in, drinking my water, my fluids, I should say, and I'm good. So when I do have a weekend of something, I didn't know how this weekend, I'm not going to lie to you, I did not know how this weekend's foods were going to affect me. Because last weekend was a full weekend of foods. Okay. We even went to IHOP one day, and that was like in the morning time prior to the wedding. We went to IHOP, and your girl had some steak and eggs. Yes, I did. I had a steak. I had some eggs, and I didn't want the pancakes, but I wanted the French toast. And I had bananas and strawberries on it, and it was like yum, you know, but that was carbs. And then we had the food. They had like a 4-course meal at the wedding. It started with the breads and oils, and then you had a salad, and then you had some penne pasta and penne pasta alla vodka or something like that. Some vodka. It was good. The pasta was good. And then some people had filet mignon. I had salmon. I had some salmon and some, I think it was string beans or asparagus. I don't remember now. No, it was string beans and baked potatoes, and it was delicious. Everything was so good. Cooked just right. It was delicious. And seasoned the way Mama used to season it before I wasn't having any kind of sodiums in my diet. So everything was really tasty. But I knew they seasoned with salt, for the simple fact that I did get a headache. It wasn't a throbbing, crazy headache, but, you know, it was like you get too loud or something. It was like, oh. And we only had one glass of champagne, and that was to toast the bride and groom. So I knew it wasn't like, oh, I had 2 drinks, and that's why. That night I had a headache. When I was driving home. I was like, wow. So it was like, it wasn't intense, but I could feel the throb. So I knew it was the salt from the mini foods. And it didn't even have to be from their food. It could have been from the IHOP food. I don't know, you know, a pile-up of everything also. It could have been a pile-up of everything. But like I said, I got back on track. And after you get back on track, you want to stay eating like that. Especially since I'm only eating in a 6-hour window. 5 to 6, I say. Because sometimes I don't get to eat exactly at 12 o'clock. Because I work through the day. And if something happens and I don't get to, you know, stop because I'm still working and trying to complete something, a task, we'll say, then once I'm done and I'm able to get me something to eat, get that bite of food in, it might be 1 o'clock. So if it's 1 o'clock, then I'm going to do a 5-hour window, because I really don't want to get too close to the evening time, because then I'm going to sleep with all of this food in me and wake up starving, like ravenous, and I don't want to do that. So try your best to stick to a time where at least you stop eating dinner, stop eating your meals, I want to say, and a treat. If you give yourself a treat, stop by 6:30, 7 p.m. the latest. But that really depends on what your day schedule is like. You know, what's your daily schedule. If you work nights, then it's a little different, because you're going to be going to bed later and you'll be able to work off the food. So you have to figure that out, how you're going to work that out with, you know, stopping your last meal prior to your bedtime. And the water, like I said, you're drinking half of your body weight in water. You want to stop drinking that water at least 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours, because lately I've been stopping at the 2-hour mark, and I'll go to the bathroom, but I still find myself waking up early in the morning, long before I have to. Not in the middle of the night, but early in the morning with a bladder that's like, it just won't quit. So that's telling me either I'm drinking too much water and I need to start, because I am losing some, maybe I need to start drinking a little less. I think I need to try 3 hours so I can make sure I got enough time to run back and forth and get this water out of me before I go to bed. But that's just me. You have to work it out for you. Like I said, this is not a competition. What this is giving you cues and ideas on how to work with your body. You got to get to know your body and what you can do and not do to get healthy, honey, because that's what this is about, getting healthy, because I want to live. That's why I go through all of this. And I see people I see people pouring on the salt on their food. You can, they taste something and they're pouring it on, and they know there's an issue in the family with this, but sometimes we're just set in our ways. You know what I mean? We're set in our ways. And I remember when someone started talking to me about salt, and they had high blood pressure. I can't remember who it was, but it was many years ago, and they had high blood pressure. And I didn't, but I always went to the doctor, so I didn't have it. All right. And I know I thought I was going to be like my mother, because my mother always said she had low blood pressure, and you see her pouring on the salt. Well, I got low blood pressure, so I can use salt. That's what she would say, but that's what my mama would say, okay? I'm taking her at her word. And I figured I'd have the same thing, but I also have a father who had high blood pressure and sugar diabetes. So it was a 50-50 chance that I'd probably take after my father, which I did. But like I said before, in one of my other episodes, I think it was in the first season, my mother, when she passed, she didn't pass from high blood pressure, but she had high blood pressure. Because for years, Mommy poured that salt on. She had all of us heavy-handed with salt. So now I don't even cook with salt. I keep Himalayan salt in my, the pink salt. Looks like sea salt, but it's pink. I keep that in my cupboard. I don't season with any salt. And then if it's something that I feel like this really needs, then I'll do a little sprinkle. It's a grinder, so I'll like check on the food after it's cooked. I don't cook any kind of salt in it. If I want to taste the salt, I want to taste it after the meal is done, because if you cook with salt in it, you're not going to taste it much anyway. So you might as well just wait till you cook it and then add your little bit of salt. But no, not that iodized stuff, or, not those salts, okay? If you must add salt, Himalayan salt is the healthiest salt that you should add. I'm not saying you should add it, but it's the healthier salt to go with. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Okay. Now, again, this is the Brave Stars podcast. Please share the episode. If you have someone with you who's going to hold you accountable, which I did tell you guys, you should get you an accountability partner. It's not a thing where you're going to compete with them. It's just they're going to get you on track and you're going to get them on track. Start where you are. If you know for a fact that you cannot walk for an hour or 45 minutes or a half an hour, start where you are. Walk as long as you can walk. Judge that, time it. And then tomorrow, do better that day than you did today. And that's what you're going to do. And your friend, family member, whoever it is that's challenging you and you're challenging one another, the same for them. Just make sure that you guys are keeping on one another and, you know, big up each other when you do something. Good job. I mean, how much does that hurt? It doesn't hurt to say that. Good job. You did it. Or we did it. You know, even better. We did it. We in there. You know, however you got to say it. Just big up each other. Make each other feel good. You know, oh my God, it feels good to get a compliment. You can be the bubbliest person in the world, giving people compliments and big upping them all day long. If one person gives you a compliment, it feels good. When I hear it from somebody, and me and my girl, we go back and forth. Me and my girl, Denise, we go back and forth all the time. You know, she shows me her results. I show her my results. She be doing it too. She be doing it. She need to be the instructor or, you know, the person doing the podcast, because she be whipping me sometime. I'm like, wow, girl, you go ahead. You go. You know, I do more than just walk, but still, she's at it. She does it. And that's what you want. You want to compliment them when they do that. And then she compliments me. Good job, girl. Dad, you in there. You know, it feels good. And it keeps you going. It makes you feel like I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to do this again. And that's what you're supposed to do. This is not something that we're doing just this week or this month or anything like that. This is a lifestyle. So if you want to increase your lifestyle, then you need to start doing these healthy things. Implement more healthy steps into your life. If you eat candy, I'm really talking to one of my sons. If you eat candy, you need to get that candy out of your pocket, out of your wallet. Get rid of the candy. Replace it with raisins, something healthy that can help you move your bowels properly. This is for anybody, really. There's adults that still eat candy. You know, you don't want to mess up what teeth we have. You're not getting any new teeth, honey, unless you buy them. And, you know, just get you some raisins. Start buying fruit, berries, blueberries, cherries, bananas, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. All of those are antioxidants and very good for your skin. They're good for your immune system. They're great for lowering high blood pressure. And since they do have some sugar content in them, they have natural sugars, and it helps your body produce the insulin that you need to break down sugars. Okay, so try that. I'm telling you, do the fruits. Do what God made. She says, let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. And I'm going to leave you with something else today, because I'm getting ready to end this. For the pastor's anniversary, they had another pastor speaking, and he did a good job, by the way. He did a good job, a really good job. This man is so credited with so many, oh my God, his credentials. He looks wonderful on paper. You know what I'm saying? He's got everything going. He's got a couple of doctorate degrees. He's got his master's. He got 2 bachelors. He's did some studying. He did a lot of studying. He's from, I think they said from India. I don't remember where they said he was from. But very talented and very, very humble. You know, he's not big-headed. He knows his word. And he was talking about where Jesus Christ was calling to Peter and his brother Andrew, I believe his name was, and they were on the ship with their father Zebedee. And he told them, he said, come, I'm going to make you fishers of men. Now, what he was saying, what he started saying is that you have to be a follower before you could be a leader. And a leader is only as good as their followers. You understand? So if you're a leader First of all, everybody wants to lead. For some reason, everybody wants to be a leader. And you can't all be leaders. Somebody has to be learning something. That's what followers do. Followers, you're following them. You're following your pastors because you want to learn what it is that they're doing. And they're teaching the word of Christ, Jesus Christ. So you want to learn that. And in order to share it with someone else, you must be a good follower. You know, they tell you to read the word for yourself so you can gather, or hear Christ's word. Hear what God said to us in the Bible. Because you can read something from the Bible. You can read it this month and then next month read it again and get a whole nother meaning. Because it really depends on where you are in life and what it is God has to tell you from that passage during the time that you're reading it. So that's why you read the word for yourself. You don't always take what someone else is saying to you because they're going to give you their version and their point of view. But back to what he was saying, he said, when you are a follower, like when Christ said to Andrew and Peter mainly, he said, come follow me. That's what he said. They dropped everything. They were fishermen. They were fishing with their father. They stopped, dropped everything, and went to follow him. A good follower will listen. They will stop and do what it is that they should be doing to follow that lead so that they can go in that direction and become that type of individual. You cannot become a leader if you're not following properly because you're going to lead people the wrong way. Another thing is, their father was with them, Zebedee. Why didn't he feel like he wanted to come? Why didn't he? And see, that's the thing. Not everyone will follow. Some people is like, nah, that's not for me. I'm not going to say they're saying God's not for them, but they will not follow. And when they do decide to follow, it might be given, they might give half of themselves and not their complete self. And then wonder why this person over here is getting blessed or why that person over there is getting blessed. Well, you have to give all of your heart, not a piece of it. You can't say, I'm going to follow this, this, and this, but I'm going to do this other thing over here like that because that's what works best for me. No, God didn't say, pick and choose out of my words what you want to do. He said, follow me. Or if you read the word, he's telling you how to have a good, joyous life. And you can't do that without reading the word for yourself. Anyway, I love you guys. And I can go on and on talking about God's word. I just love his word. But I got to go. So I love you. I miss you. And I care. And I will catch you next weekend. Please share the episode, okay? Get somebody to join you so that you two can hold each other accountable. Get a few people to join you so you can hold each other accountable. Again, if you have any questions about what I was asking you about, let me know. I'll get you some more information on it. All right? I just want you guys to have a wonderful, healthy life because that's what's up. You know, you can watch on YouTube or you can listen in on iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Have a wonderfully blessed day. Later, Gators.